Puffy because he was a huge inspiration. When I came in the game, I didn't like myself, I didn't want success, I was afraid of it, but watching him, he wanted it so bad, and he was it.
That show y'all that Mary was just out there wilding and out there having a ball.
Hold on to your wigs, because what's unraveling inside that courtroom has the entire industry shaking. With Diddy's trial spiraling deeper into the abyss, the dominoes are starting to fall. And Mary J. Blige, baby, she's right at the edge of that cliff. People are whispering, tweeting, and gasping because now it's not just about Diddy. It's about everyone who stood beside him, smiled in photos, and danced in his music videos. And Mary J., oh, she's been there since the very beginning.
So guys, we're gonna talk about Mary J. Blige. You know, she had came out of her interview yesterday and said that when she used to attend the freak parties, she said that it was her rite of passage.
We're talking day one vibes. Mary J. Blige and Diddy weren't just colleagues, they were ride or die in the golden age of Bad Boy Records. From the glitz and glam of that untouchable era to the darkest corridors of the music industry, Mary witnessed it all. Not just the champagne and red carpets, she was there when it got messy, very messy.
So I had to fight in my prayer time in the morning with that same kind of fight.
And honey, these weren't your regular A-lister soirees, no ma'am. These parties, we've been hearing chilling stories about satanic rituals, creepy symbolism, and a reality that sounds more like a psychological horror movie than anything related to family entertainment. But here's the kicker, Mary didn't just attend, she might have known too much. Enough for the court to start connecting dots and raising eyebrows. And now that Diddy's career is crumbling under the weight of lawsuits, federal raids, and reputation annihilation, you know what happens. When a cornered man is desperate, he starts singing. And it sounds like Diddy is giving up names like it's Confession Sunday.
The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms, intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses.
Guess who just resurfaced out of nowhere? Cassie, yep, the Cassie. Despite that civil settlement check already in her bank, she rolled into that courtroom like a silent storm, low-key but loud AF in impact. Word is, she didn't just talk about assistants and no-name minions. No, sweetie, she dropped bombs. A-list names, heavy hitters, power players, and Diddy's infamous freak-off culture. And one of those names? Mary J. Blige. Let's not play coy, we've all heard whispers for years. Parties where phones were snatched at the door, where A-listers moved in shadows. But Mary? Her name always hovered just outside the gossip, like a ghost. Too classy, too cool, too quiet. Until now.
The same question all over and over again. I hate that.
So what's the one question that nobody has asked you that you want them to ask?
I don't want them to ask me anything.
Ah.
So don't ask me.
Oh, okay. So you'd rather not do the interview at all?
Because this trial is pulling the curtains all the way back, ripping them down actually. Allegedly, Cassie didn't just name attendees. She called out repeat offenders, regulars, the ones who knew the vibe and showed up anyway. And guess who made that VIP roster? Mary J. Blige. Insiders say Mary wasn't just attending these shady events. There are claims she might have even helped organize some of them, or at the very least looked the other way when things turned disturbing. If this is true, it's a devastating blow to her image as the R&B survivor queen.
Go to see tonight, Mary J. Blige and Father MC.
Let's rewind for a sec, because Mary and Diddy weren't just music partners, they were close, like ride together, die together close. From Uptown Records to Diddy's flashy bad boy empire, their chemistry was undeniable. He didn't just help her career, he championed it. He placed her on a pedestal. The queen of hip-hop soul met her producer Prince. The synergy? Iconic. To the world, they looked unbreakable.
And they living off of your money? How don't that piss you off? How didn't that damn Lifetime Achievement Award piss you off?
And maybe it was for the best that Mary didn't actually sign full-time with Bad Boy, because whoo, the tea that's boiling now, it's not cute. Even so, being close to Diddy didn't spare her from the storm. Allegations have always floated around about how toxic their time together was. In her Amazon documentary, Mary dropped hints that she's endured pain she'll never fully speak about, and fans believe that pain might be stamped with Diddy's fingerprints. Now, in public, they still call each other besties. Diddy even gushed about her in 2023, calling her one of the greatest truth tellers in R&B, said she created a lane for women to speak truth to power. But behind those quotes, there's a whole lot of speculation. Was it all PR spin, a cover-up? Was her friendship with Diddy just a mask hiding decades of emotional manipulation?
My life is probably my darkest album. At one of the darkest times I've had. Most of the times I was just depressed and didn't want to live. I had it all inside.
Mary's confession to Rolling Stone turned the temperature up. She said when Diddy was still Puff Daddy, he swept her off her feet with charm and promises. She was young, eager, and trusting. He promised protection, fame, and a ticket out of the darkness. But instead, he allegedly took her ideas, cheated relentlessly, and turned her into a money-making machine.
I didn't know that so many people felt the same way.
She made it okay for people to say it's all right to be.
His machine, the bombshell moment? Mary revealed she learned Diddy had fathered a child with another woman in 1998. She was devastated. She tried to walk away from both their personal and professional ties, but Diddy begged her not to go. He promised change, he promised love, he promised her the world. But she finally saw the truth. She was the golden goose, and he wasn't ready to let that go. She said he manipulated her, threatened her, tried to ruin her career, even hinted at physical harm if she left or spoke out. He had an army, lawyers, bodyguards, fixers. He told her if she dared to leave or expose him, he'd make sure she never worked or even lived again.
It was the mayor and the politicians in New York City. They turned around and give him the key to the city.
And while his public empire ballooned, behind the scenes, so-called parties were transforming into something sinister. It wasn't just blunts and booze. Nope, Diddy's private parties had turned into full-blown power plays, hidden rooms, creepy rituals, whispers of abuse. People say Diddy used these gatherings to own people, pull them into the dark, then hold their secrets over them like a noose. A-listers showed up. So did shady elites and mystery men with too much money and too few morals. People walked in thinking it was a party and walked out changed. And Mary, she was there.
Not that devil we've been worshiping. That those people got him believing. You understand?
Yes, she loved to party. But even she allegedly hit a wall when she saw how unhinged things got. Imagine a room packed with famous actors, rappers, and even politicians all off their rockers, spiraling out on who knows what. Details, drug binges, occult-like ceremonies, and behavior that would make a horror director flinch. What began as music industry flex turned into ritualistic madness.
Mad at him, mad at everything, mad at the world, and you reach a point where it's like, nobody loves me.
And Mary saw it with her own eyes. At first, she chalked it up to industry culture, but then she couldn't unsee what she saw. Diddy's control over the room, over the people, and it wasn't just shady, it was terrifying. Sources say Mary watched people get threatened, silenced, or frozen out just for asking questions. If you didn't play along, you were erased. And Diddy, he wasn't just a mogul. Rumors painted him as a master manipulator, obsessed with control.
I didn't have any self-confidence. I didn't have any self-love. Everything was hate towards myself. So, how could I have expectations for someone to love anything that I did?
Mary, even with her status, wasn't immune. She saw things no one should see. And the toll it took on her, it echoed in her music, in her tears, in her addiction battles, in the pain she tried to drown. At one point, it got too much. She hit rock bottom, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. The energy at those gatherings didn't help, it broke her. She knew if she didn't leave that chaos, she'd lose herself forever. And yet the whispers haven't stopped. Some say she knew, maybe didn't participate, but knew. And maybe staying quiet was the only way to survive. But was it silence or complicity? Everyone in the industry knew about Diddy's freak-off parties. They were practically folklore. Phones locked up, cameras banned, consent dubious at best. Now, the courts are ready to blow the lid off those private circles. This isn't just Diddy on trial anymore. It's the entire system that kept him protected for decades. More names are coming. Some will leave your jaw on the floor. This isn't just about crimes. It's about a whole industry rotten from the inside out. And Mary? She may have thought her crown made her untouchable. But now, baby, the queen's on the board and checkmate is closing in. That's all for now. The next tea spill is just around the corner. Till then, keep your ears open and your receipts saved.